Welcome to the Violent Cell. Thank you for joining me. What you are looking at is a post on my community page that was uploaded 10 hours ago. It reads, I bet no one asked Adam about the teardrop under his left eye. Who is that for? Yeah, okay. This demon wants street creds for unaliving his own child. Stay woke. You see, when you're trying to put a story together, details together, you try to pay attention to things, the demeanor of the person, court appearances, old photographs, pics, testimonies from other people. And that's what you're hearing in the past week pertaining to Adam Montgomery and Kayla Montgomery. He has not appeared in court. That is his right not to appear in court. And he's being charged with unaliving his girl child, Harmony Montgomery. What I noticed the other day was this tattoo. Now, many people who have been affiliated with street people and people who have committed crimes and heard commentary from them, that they will get a tattoo under their eye of a teardrop. And this is supposed to symbolize taking the life of another human being. We know that he has a very extensive violent background, shooting a male in the head pertaining to a drug deal, stabbing another male in the leg, pushing him out of the car, which is, I don't know how he did that, but nonetheless, he's been arrested. And as I brought you content the other day, he has 21 items on his arrest record. And this is including the state of New Hampshire and Massachusetts. So the question I'm posing is the obvious question. Adam Montgomery, who is the tattoo for, the teardrop? Because I would hate to think, and this is probably me being silly and even saying this, but I know damn well you don't have a tattoo under your eye pertaining to unaliving your own child, because I don't know how you thought or think you would get street creds for unaliving your own baby. Okay? Look at that carefully. It's a blowed up picture. Anybody with sense knows it's a teardrop. And with his extensive background, we have not heard yet to date that he has unalived a human. But he is on trial for murdering his girl child, Harmony Montgomery. So who is the tattoo for? I'll wait. What type of respect are you getting for unaliving your child if that's who the tattoo is for? Please help me understand. You see, you always have to pay attention to the details. And I saw this the other day. I think this is a court picture. And I said, wait a minute, wait. Is that a teardrop I'm looking at? Now, who is that teardrop supposed to be for? So what I'd like to know, has a detective asked Adam Montgomery about the teardrop? I'm curious. So far, I've heard nothing about it mentioned during these court proceedings. I have not followed each day verbatim, but I'm getting little snippets and watching it as I go along. And I haven't heard anyone say anything about the tattoo. I haven't heard that anyone asked him, a civilian or detective, who the tattoo is supposed to be for. And I'm trying to understand the mindset of this human. And naturally doesn't add up because we hear that he is abusive. So it's probably a dumb question to even ask about the tattoo. He wouldn't care about putting a tattoo under his eye pertaining to unaliving his own child because he's sinister, he's vile, he is a demon. He's a walking demon. The fact that he wouldn't even show up to his own trial because he doesn't want to face anyone. He doesn't want anyone looking at him. Okay? This case is diabolical. Because what you have to think about is the whole person that's being accused of the crime. What led them to this point of murder? How did they get in this position? No matter who the person is that they unalive, but how did they get in this position? And really, you're talking to yourself, trying to figure it out, because once you become an adult, really nobody cares what your problems were as a kid, a teenager, what problems you are suffering at the moment. You took a whole life for no reason. And he's that type of guy that he doesn't mind strong-arm robbery, busting in a house. That's one of his other charges, busting in a house, demanding money from two females. He's just vile. I want it. I'll take it. You know, self-entitled, narcissist. But even petty thievery, it's not the same as busting in somebody's house and pulling a gun out on them, beating a baby to death. He has violent tendencies. He is violent. And the real question, besides this tattoo, maybe to some, what would he have done with the other children? Because guess what? Those were smaller children who also weren't potty trained. If we were to go back in the book of life, he would have done the same to them as well. He'd already threatened the mother after the fact once they moved out of the shelter. So the picture has been painted, okay? He's a violent person. He doesn't care about anyone. He has no regard for anyone because he doesn't even regard his own self. He has no respect for human life. And no matter the reason that he gave for beating up the child, the version he gave to the uncle, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. One person in the chat said they didn't believe under my community post that the child covered the mouth of another child. That was the reason why he beat the baby, because the baby was turning blue. This is the version he told the uncle. Nonetheless, when a person lies, it is true. They'll lie about anything. Very true. So you don't know what to believe. But I was pondering this photograph, and I blew it up for you all so you can see it. It's a teardrop because that's what it symbolizes, the little circular with the tip tattoo that you see on many faces of people. Now, a lot of people have teardrops and they haven't unalived a person. They have it for the tears they shed for someone that passed away. Okay? So you're entitled to believe whatever you want pertaining to the teardrop tattoo on a person's face. But we know with people who have committed crimes, violent crimes at least, that is what it allegedly is supposed to symbolize. It's the unaliving of a human being. And if this joker killed his child, which I believe he did, he's telling the world, yeah, I killed her. I sure did. And here's the teardrop to prove it. Now what? Think about that for just a second. He has shown no remorse in his interview when the cops sat him in the interrogation room to ask him about the disappearance of his child. He would talk a little, then he'd say he had nothing to say. He'd talk a little, then he'd say, I have nothing to say. But when it got down to the gist of how the child got to the mother, stop talking once again. Did you take the child down there, or did the mother come pick up the child? Then he stops talking because he knew at this point, and I already knew, of course, during that interrogation, the child hasn't been seen because the child isn't alive. And now they want me to tell them where she is, and I can't tell them where she is because then I would incriminate myself. And I also can't tell them that I'm the one that got her unalive. So interesting. All the choices he could have made in life, how did he get to that point of beating a child to death, carrying her around for months, the wife riding the ride right there, to this point here, going in and out of court, photographers taking numerous photographs of a demon seed that shows no remorse for abusing his child, abusing the wife, and so many other crimes he has committed that obviously he has no remorse for. This is who he has chosen to be. And that's the thing about any choice you make in life. You don't have to do the things that you do. You may tell yourself that it was necessary at that time. You popped off, you got mad, you wanted revenge, whatever the situation was, but you didn't have to do it. So we ask ourselves, why would a human being beat a child to death because she allegedly soiled herself? When there are other small children who will also eventually do the same. That's what was so interesting to me. It almost made me think, was it personal? Why did he get custody of her? Because many people are asking that as well. Why? You'll hear his explanation of that during that interrogation with law officials. And you're entitled to believe it or not believe it. Because when you're dealing with somebody like this, truthfully, you can't believe anything. That is so true. Why would I believe anything this person has to say? And they've unalived a child. They've carried this child around, deceased. Morbid. It's very morbid what he has done. And it was hard even looking at him in that interview because I told myself, this is the same person that took this baby's life and carried her around dead. Who is this thing? And also, how could Kayla ride the ride along with him? Some will say she was scared, blah, blah, blah. You're entitled to your opinion. But she still rode the ride nonetheless. Tattoo under the left eye, symbolizing taking the life of another human being. And this man has been accused of taking his own child's life. And how bold is it to carry a tattoo of a teardrop from unaliving your own child? He's brazen. He's very brazen. And I'm going to be truthful with you. I do believe he would have harmed his other children and possibly Kayla Montgomery. And I guess then he would have put some more tattoos of teardrops under his eyes. Imagine that. She should consider herself very lucky to be alive. The children as well. And imagine them growing up, because they don't know any better right now, they're still young. Imagine them hearing all these ugly things that this man has done in his lifetime. Also unaliving their sibling, Harmony Montgomery. And to know that I'm alive by the grace of God, because this thing did not snuff me out because he was having a bad day or I allegedly did something he did not like or condone. That would be a hard pill to swallow as a child, as an adult. To know that you were a baby, a toddler, you didn't really know what was going on around you, and that you're now alive. And you were around this demon while he was abusing your sister, toddler sister. And you are one of the fortunate ones to not meet the same fate as Harmony Montgomery. Thank you for your time. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $sign McAngie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Join me later today for an in-depth discussion of the trial of Adam Montgomery.